Good afternoon. Welcome to this Bank Data for Accountants webinar. My name's Rob Anderson and I'm the product manager. I've been involved with Bank Data since about September. I'm both pleased and excited that it's now available for everybody. It's become available with the release in New Zealand of XPA 11, and with most practices having New Zealand tax and receiving TDS transactions, this means that you're already set up for cloud services and can jump straight onto Bank Data once XPA 11 is installed. For those of you that don't have cloud services, this is one of the prerequisites for the product, along with Practice Management 11.1 or above, and the guides, videos, and help articles detailing all of this and helping you get set up and start using Bank Data are available on the XPA and Bank Data pages in my APS portal. So presenting our webinar today is Client Success Manager Andrea Roberts. I'm just waiting for the to move on. I can show you there. Thanks, Andrea. So I can show the question. Just trying to get the PowerPoint to move.
Oh, sorry. I tested this so many times.
We believe you.
Yes. There we go.
Lovely. There we go. So any questions that you have during the webinar, please type them into the panel as it shows there, saying how to submit the questions. I'll be reviewing these as the webinar goes on, and we can maybe address them or talk about some at the end. But it also says, as a follow-up, we'll share any frequently asked questions during the webinar. Please also give us your feedback through the survey at the end when the webinar is finished. And there'll also be an email address that will show if you have any additional questions that you'd like to put later. So without further ado, I will now pass you over to Andrea.
Thanks, Rob. Let's see if I've got PowerPoint working now. Brilliant. So today I'm going to take everyone through the Bank Data product, what it does and what it will do, so what's coming up in the near future, and then cover off some information, commonly asked questions that we've come across either ourselves or from clients who have been testing the Bank Data application. So what is Bank Data? It's a functionality that's within XPA 11, so it's not a separate application, as Rob told you, and it allows for the import of bank statement transactional data into XPA to then be manipulated as needed to analyse and report on the financial data for your client within XPA. What it is not, it's not a cash book and it's not a business software package. So why would you want to use Bank Data? Well, it creates efficiencies for all of those small annual clients that you have in your practice who don't have cash books, so it's easy to get the information into XPA, and also those clients who just require simple processes. They might just have GST returns to be done through the year and then their compliance work. And that's come about because our clients have told us that you do have plenty of clients that fit in with that requirement of just a simple and efficient way to input bank statement data into XPA. It also de-risks your practice where you are heavily invested in products that are end of life or coming up as legacy products, and it gives you an alternative. It's written in the latest cloud technology and it will future-proof your firm for that pool of clients of yours. And of course, it has a familiar look and feel. It is a modern extension of XPA that everyone knows and loves. So let me take you through to a demo of the product, because I'm sure that's what everyone is wanting to see now. As I just try and open, I'm going to go straight into XPA. Number one is that you do need to link the clients through your client console to be able to access bank data. But once you're in here, the one thing that you're going to see as a change is in file details, you now have this additional line for feed collection. When I click on the ellipsis here, it then takes me to the Add Bank Feed screen. So I'm going to add a feed collection. And what this is doing is it's going off to the cloud and creating a cloud ledger of your XPA ledger. So a copy of this ledger in the cloud. It's already picked up the name of the feed collection, picking it up from the organization name in the ledger, that it is a company, that we're based in New Zealand, and it knows that the balance period is April to March. So I can then save that, creates the feed collection, and then it will take me through to actually adding the bank details. So here's our bank feed screen. What we want to do is add a feed, and at this point we can find the bank. We've got the New Zealand banks listed here, and I will show you those again when we have worked through the demo. So I can select the bank, click on next, and it pops up with to enter the bank account details. So I am going to just put in here and the BSB, the account number, and the suffix required. And click on add, as simple as that. Oh, don't know what's caused that. So it does pick up, sorry about that everyone, it does pick up the account details, and then you can follow through the bank feed information. It will show you where the feeds are at. I'm just going to take you through this one, which is already set up. So at this point, you can see that the bank account details are set up. You can download the form from here, and that is the form required for your clients to sign off. You can then upload the completed form through the software, or you can email it to this email address here, bankdata@reckon.com. You can also print off look at the details of the feed. You can also delete the feed if that is relevant. So now that the feed has been set up, I can go into the launch screen, and you can see there that I've got BankData available. So if I click on BankData, I can select the bank. It will default to the main bank. And this is your coding screen. So on that screen, we have the bank account defaulted to here. If you do have more than one bank account for the client, they will be listed here, and you can just move between the different bank accounts. Looking at the screen here, we've got an area that you can see is marked out or shaded in grey. That's all of the information that has been pushed through from the bank. On the right here, the white area is your input area for the client. Down at the bottom, you'll see that there are dates here. These have defaulted to the dates that are in the ledger. And of course, you can change it if needed, if you're coding different periods. So you can see I have coded most of these, but if I select this one, you can either enter the account code or just type in the account name, and you can select the code from there. It is possible to split transactions by selecting the top one on the screen there, or also using a shortcut key of a /. That then opens the split transactions screen, and we can work through these. And put in the relevant information. Now we can save that transaction. You'll also see that we've got an option here to create a rule. So you can create rules or memorizations throughout the coding screen. You can either save it from the split transaction, or I'm just going to save this transaction. You've also got the button here that will take you into the rules screen or memorizations, and you can add memorizations here and manage them. So now that I have coded all of that information, once it comes back to me, you can see at the bottom of the screen that I have uncoded transactions of 0. So I can now transfer that to the XPA ledger. It will not allow you to transfer the period unless everything is coded. So just a couple of other things in the screen. We've got the tax code, which defaults to the account code, so your chart of accounts default setting, but can be edited. You'll also see that you've got quantities available. So if in your chart of accounts, that particular account code allows for quantities, you can put quantities into the coding screen. We've got 2 reports available. We have the coding report, which you can download and send to your client for them to complete the coding, and also a GST audit report. In the ellipsis here, we can make a couple of choices. We can show uncoded transactions only. We can also display the account by account code rather than account name, as I have it shown here. You can also play around with the columns that are shown in the description. It is possible to upload transactions from your client by way of a QIF file, and there are instructions in the software to be able to do that. And we have an option there to remove transactions. So I'll transfer that information into the ledger. And it will post. You can set the software to automatically post the transactions, or you can elect to make that choice there. So if I now look at the general ledger, you'll be able to see all of those transactions listed as source from a bank statement, and all of the description information and totals brought across. So that is the long and the short of BankData. I'll just come back to my slide show. So getting into some of the detail, you can see that it is a quick coding interface, very similar to what people would have been used to with the likes of BankLink and similar products. It is easy to learn. It is very much follow your nose. We do have videos available for training that are a maximum of about 5 minutes in each, doing the bank feeds and the coding screen. It has a seamless integration with XPA. You can see how easy it is to transfer the information into XPA. It is possible to also revert or send back the detail into BankData if you want to recode anything using the BankData screen. Of course, because it works in seamlessly with XPA, you've got a powerful reporting of XPA already sitting there ready to use. It is economical. I'll get into the prices later. And of course, you have the value of our wonderful support team. So just some of the questions that have come up as we've progressed the development of BankData. These are the financial institutions currently supported in New Zealand. You will note there that the one major player who is missing is BNZ, Bank of New Zealand. They are very close to coming on board. We're just working out all of the APIs being written, all of the development has been done. We're just working through some of the legal requirements for BNZ. So it will be available imminently and certainly by the end of March, ready for the 1st of April. The farming institutions, for those of you who have a lot of farming clients, we are working through, we've progressed with FarmSource, with the dairy providers such as Fonterra, Tatua, please excuse my pronunciation, and so on. We are in discussions with those providers as well. So, can a practice's clients have access to BankData? Currently, no, it is only available to you within the practice. However, that will be available in the next release. So your clients will be able to access BankData, complete their coding. We will be looking at being able to edit the description that's coming up and also being able to add notes so that a client, if they're not sure where to code something to, they can at least put in a note to you as the accountant for further advice. Rob, do you want to leap in there with any follow up on the enhancements?
Did you mention about amending and appending descriptions? I'm not sure if I missed that. You said about the notes. Did you
Yes,
add that
so
on?
I did mention that. So we are looking at, it's currently not available, but we are looking at least in the first iteration of being able to add information or to the description field. So it will bring through the information that comes through from the bank statement, and then you'll be able to add on any additional information.
Yeah. So the development, unlike other parts of APS, isn't actually done by the APS part of Reckon. So BankData is a Reckon product and it's running very successfully in their environment. So obviously all the changes or the little tweaks are all accountant related. So these are things that have come up in the beta program. So we're working closely with the development guys to try and get these pushed through as quickly as possible.
Great, thanks, Rob.
A question we did have come through, Andrew, was do you have to set up a 12-period ledger?
No.
And you set up a 6-period ledger?
Yes, you can set up any periods right up to 13. So you can set up a single period ledger, but then of course you won't be able to transfer the information until the entire period is coded. Thanks, Rob. So how long does it take from the sign up to being activated? So that's actually completing the form for the bank. It is taking from 2 to 10 working days, depending on the bank. And you would have seen very briefly in that bank within file details, the management screen, where you can get an indication of where the form is sitting at. Mostly it will be awaiting bank. So you will have progress there where you've downloaded the form, you've sent the form to us, we're awaiting information from the bank, and then once it's available. So if a client has already signed an approval for another provider, do they need to sign one again with BankData? Yes, they do. And that's a requirement of the banks. They need to put security around their clients' information. So you would need to still fill in another form. So as I said, the reports that are available are that coding transaction report that you can send to your client, and there's also a GST audit report if you do want to work out the GST purely based on bank data. We are looking at, and obviously you've got all of the other reports available to you within your XPA ledger. With the ability to add your clients to be able to code the bank data themselves, we are looking at adding the 12-period cash flow or the cash flow summary reports, which seem to be the most commonly requested ones purely for your clients. So the big question, how much is it? It is $7.50 per month per ledger. That does include any number of bank accounts. It does allow up to 1,000 transactions per month across those bank accounts. And above there will be a charge for any additional transactions, but we feel that that should be more than enough for the clients, for the type of clients that you have that would be using bank data as an application to be able to get the information into XPA. So can you import data from BankLink? Well, you can. You can backfill from the likes of BankLink. You can also backfill directly from QIF files downloaded from the client's bank accounts. But managing the changeover from the likes of BankLink and other products, it would be a matter of managing, going into the second question, just managing the changeover from where BankLink or Essentials or whatever that product is, stopping that at a particular date, starting it with bank data from the next day. So the transactions all end up in XPA regardless of its origin, so it's just managing that information to be tidy to swap over. Do the transactions download automatically? Yes, they certainly do. So when the transactions are in there, you'll be able to code them. There's no need to actually go through any download process as a separate step. So the APS system requirements, as Rob intimated or described at the beginning, you will need XPA 11. You can download XPA 11 without switching bank data on. But the main functionality added to XPA 11 is bank data. And you will, of course, need cloud services. So if you're already on APS Tax, you're already going to have it, but you will need cloud services. So from here, over to you, Rob.
Okay, shall we just, there's a couple of questions come through. Andrew, there's a number about credit cards, and can credit cards be used?
Yes, so currently the only credit card available is the KiwiBank credit card. Other ones are again in the process of being onboarded.
Okay, and there's another question saying, is the price of $7.50 per month or an annual fee?
No, $7.50 per month per ledger.
Yeah, okay. And a couple of people asking about Rabobank.
So Rabobank again is on the list. Tony Douglas, who is managing the discussions with the banks, has progressed discussions with Rabobank. I do not believe that it's at what we call the API stage, so getting more into the technical information. It is at the beginning of that process, which is more about discussing commercials and an overall requirement discussion.
Yeah, I think some of these things are also available through Yodlee, aren't they? Which we have as part of
Yes,
the
they are.
feeds here.
So one option is to use Yodlee. It effectively uses your client's login into their bank account to download the transactional data into BankData, and that is available across any bank. And there are instructions in the release to be able to download that information.
Yeah. There's also been a couple of questions saying when is the next release? So there isn't actually a date for it because this is now, because we don't have to update XPA to make any changes to BankData. This is part of the cloud deployment, so we can roll this out as and when anything new comes on almost straight away. So we'll keep you posted through the forum on any new things that are available.
So
if there's
speaking,
go on,
I
Andy.
was just going to say, speaking of the forum, so we do have within the My APS portal a BankData page where there are featured articles, known issues, and actual, once you're signed in, you can get to a download of, be able to download the software. And also we do have a community forum for BankData for accountants where we will be putting information that's relevant to the product as and when it happens. So from here, you can contact support by logging a case if you require any help with installing the software or using the software. If you do have any further questions, do please email support@reckon.com with the subject line BankData webinar, and we will be posting the webinar recording on the BankData product page.
So a couple more questions have come in saying, can the client code the BankData like BankLink does? So I think you did actually cover that off, Andrea.
Yes, so at the moment, no, but it is going to be available in the next release, isn't it, Rob, Product Manager?
Indeed it is, yeah. That's our number one priority, to allow your client for you to share the feed with your clients and for them to do the coding. So the good thing about obviously it being web-based is that as soon as they finish the coding, you can log straight on. There's nothing like having to back up files or anything like that. Just see if there's any more questions, Andrea, that we can deal with at the moment. There's a couple more questions about farmlands, but again, you've covered that. Do you just want to reiterate that one?
Sorry, that is a different one. So farmlands and farm source, and PGG rights-ins as well. Again, I'm sorry, I can't give you any further information, but they are in discussions and are at various points along those discussions. So we need to, with this process, we need to contact the supplier, work through the initial discussions, work through the technical side of it, being the API or connections that we can make between their bank and the software, and then obviously work through the finalizing process. Now, all of those are at various stages of that journey.
Yep. So I've also been asked, can we see the uncoded report and the GST report? I think they're doing work on the GST report, so I'm not sure whether that's actually working there, but I'm sure you can do the encode.
Let's have a look. So if I go back to launch BankData, so the reports are just a straight out report with all of the information that comes across from the bank statement. And the GST report is an audit report. So it doesn't look like a GST return as such, but it has the relevant information where you've got it broken down into inputs, outputs, and the totals that can be carried across to the return. Now, a couple of provisos with that. Obviously, if you do need to do any journal type adjustments, they're better to be done in XPA, and then you can run the GST return in XPA. And the connection between XPA and the tax product for you to be able to file the tax return is still managed through XPA. So you would not file a GST return from BankData.
Okay, and we're getting a couple of questions about the billing process. So at the moment, that's going to be a manual process. So information will be sent out to you at the end of each month by APS, but we're currently working on a practice dashboard so you can be able to manage those in-house.
So we will be providing a CSV file or similar that you'll be able to disperse through your practice management fees process.
So I'm just seeing whether there's anything else that we need to cover off. Anne's very kindly said, can you remind people about the GST console? So I think she's talking about there for e-filing GST returns.
Yes, so you can file GST returns through the GST console through New Zealand, just the normal New Zealand tax product.
Yeah. So that's putting the information from BankData straight into XPA and then
yes, you could
onto
key it.
Yeah.
You could key it from that GST audit report from within BankData or use XPA.
Yeah, and we also have the GST web return, don't we?
We do, and it looks beautiful.
Lovely. Don't think there's any other questions that we haven't covered. Is there anything else, Andrea, that you'd like to?
I think that covers it for me. So there are no other questions. Just a reminder to please follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, and of course our website, apssoftware.com.
Excellent. Okay, so everyone can look forward to having the recording available, and we hope that you're looking forward to using BankData now after seeing the demonstration today. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll catch up with you shortly. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.